Welcome to another Soccer Down Here 1v1, and it's time to catch up with friend of the show, Sean McDaniel, President and General Manager of Chattanooga Red Wolves FC. It's been a while since we've had you on, and I guess the first bit of news came from WTVC News Channel 9 yesterday on Thursday, as you and I are talking about what's going on in Eastridge. What is the update as you see it right now?
Well, first, John, thank you for having me. It's always great to be on with you and your audience. Love what you guys are doing. And, yeah, with what the Chattanooga Red Wolves are doing here in the great city of Chattanooga, building out first-rate training facilities with locker rooms and 2 pitches and a 1,200-seat stadium, really to not just allow the first team to grow, develop, and have success, but to really create that straight channel of a path to pro that the USL has put together. So, if we can get that thing finished and done, it's really one of the cornerstones of building out this path to pro that we are trying to do here in Chattanooga.
And since it's been a while since we've had the chance to catch up, you've got a name, you've got a kit, you've got a logo. It's all there. Chattanooga Red Wolves FC. Since you've released the logo and it's been seen on kits and T-shirts and scarves and everything, what's it been like to finally see that part of the birth come to the fore?
Well, it's funny because certainly when this was launched, there was no name, there was no crest, there were no colors, and to now have, I guess, the skin on the soccer skeleton now, it really it's real, and moving on with the fact that we're building a very high-end soccer-specific stadium, hopeful to play in 2020 in it with 5,500 seats. Each week something new and exciting is coming along, and we're ready to kick the ball. But I think now that we actually have an identity with who we are, it's real. It's now ready to go.
And for those who don't know the history, who are outside the footprint there in Tennessee and in Georgia in the Southeast, go into a little bit as to how the Red Wolves SC came to be.
Well, Chattanooga is such a great soccer market now. With the great rise of Atlanta United, and now with the recent announcement that Nashville will have an MLS team, if you just take a snapshot of professional soccer in the Southeast, I would argue with anyone that this is where the best soccer exists in the country, starting, in Miami with the new MLS franchise set to launch here soon, to numerous USL franchises with Tampa Bay and certainly Orlando, Atlanta, and just keep coming up I-75. You have Chattanooga, and then just a little to the west, Birmingham, Memphis, and Greenville. The footprint of professional soccer in the Southeast is really something special, I think, for fans in the country. Chattanooga just falls right in that in the middle of it with all these other teams, and we're happy to be here.
And one of the things that was really cool about the whole naming of the team process is that you put it out there. Hey, give us your names. What do you think? And to get that early integration and interaction with the fans to come up with Red Wolves SC as the name itself, I thought that was another really cool element of bringing everything forward for this first season.
Well, John, it's actually a point that I'm glad you bring up, because that was the intent. The whole intent from day one was to make sure people who live here, visit here, who make Chattanooga their home, whether it's been for 4 years or 4 years, making sure that their voice is heard with their professional soccer team. And when we put it out there, we had hundreds and hundreds of names thrown at us. And when it finally got narrowed down to Red Wolves, the fans spoke, and here we are.
Now you're getting players, you're getting ready, because I think we're getting close to 100 days before everything is getting revved up and running. And does it seem like it's that far away, but at the same time, it's not really that far away?
Oh, we get anxious every day. Just hearing you say that, 100 days until we kick off. The good news is, I think what I'm probably most pleased about is, we have a great team. The signings signees that we have are, I think, top level, and we have enough to play soccer today, which means I've got players and a bench, and we haven't even started preseason, and we're aggressively pursuing some other high profile players. So I'm really happy with what Coach Hankinson's put together, and being able to launch the right way. But I'll tell you, the sponsors, they've really stepped up. I mean, when we announced our kit sponsor, who we just announced last week,
Yep.
They contacted me in the first week before we had a name. So we know we're doing something right, and we've hit a nerve in the right way that companies want to align themselves with us, and quality players want to align themselves with us. And we'll see when we get on the pitch here in 100 days, as you say. But we're going to play whether we're ready or not.
So when you have a guy like Coach Hankinson who has that experience with franchises, to have that kind of an experienced voice that's going to be out there, to have that experience in a market, like in Indianapolis, just as an example, as a part of his pedigree, to be a part of the fabric of what it means in these soccer communities, I think was also vital to this whole process. And we've had him on the show to talk about it, yes. But from your perspective, what's it been like to see him hit the ground running?
Well, we're a startup in that we have some very experienced people. We have some very strong soccer minds involved with this, but we literally just started up. So I think in this environment, a technical director and coach like Tim is exactly what we needed. His coaching acumen speaks for itself, but we needed more than a coach. We needed someone who can guide the ship based on their experience internationally and his contacts, and building out the whole menu of things we need to begin playing professional soccer here was really what sold it for us. I mean, aside from him just being a great guy, but his knowledge of everything beyond just the tactics of the game, but the tactics of the front office, the tactics of the coaching staff, all of that has worked extremely well as we build out and getting ready for our first season.
So what are the markers that you have coming up that folks need to be looking at and paying attention to as you get ready to go into your home for 2019? Obviously, having more players so you can have a deeper bench before you go out there and play your first match. But what are some of these markers that folks need to be looking at as we come up on the holiday season? Because as we all know, Red Wolves SC gear definitely is a good stocking stuffer.
Yes, a shameless plug, and
yes.
I'm grateful for that. But no, you're saying the right things. What are kind of our markers and benchmarks to make sure we're heading for a successful launch? I mean, right now you're exactly right. Really, just trying to fill out the rest of our roster. That's very important. Like I said, we've got 12 guys signed, and we're close to finishing out the rest of them. Building out the stadium environment, because of this first year we'll be playing at Chattanooga Christian School, and great facility, great campus, and we have to make it look like Red Wolf Stadium on a Saturday, then flip it back on to high school campus over the weekend. So really putting those pieces together as we operate the facility, and then as I mentioned before, our season ticket sales are quite high right now. We're putting our ticket packages together, all the things all the teams are doing just to generate buzz and interest. And I feel good where we are, and there's plenty more to do, but we have a great team here in Chattanooga, and I know we'll get it done.
Sean McDaniel hanging out with us for an SDH 1v1 for another couple of minutes. And you mentioned Chattanooga Christian, and I want to get into that relationship a little bit. When you were looking for a home for this first season, what were those aspects of the community and location that you were trying to plug into to find the right partner?
Well, I think one of the important things to note about Chattanooga is that while it has exploded in population in the last 5 to 10 years, it's still a city that you can get just about anywhere in 20 minutes or less. So while downtown is an attractive prospect to us, it's not the only prospect to us, meaning we think there's wonderful sections of the city that can draw fans just as well as anywhere else. Chattanooga Christian works so well because it met all the minimum standards. You know, the USL and U.S. Soccer has requirements that have to be met, and Chattanooga Christian met all those requirements. Notably, they have FIFA-approved turf, brand new locker rooms. They actually have a grass pitch we can train on along with the turf pitch that's less than 5 years old. So, you know, more so than location with CCS, Chattanooga Christian, it was just facilities infrastructure, and it checked all the boxes.
So when you're looking at all these markers and all of this stuff, I'm going to have you look backwards a little bit while you're looking forward. Has it sunk in that you've gotten to this particular point knowing that there's stuff coming up around the corner and that there's stuff that you've already accomplished? Has it sunk in that you're in this startup to this level that you're in the pool right now?
You know, it's so funny. We just had our company Christmas party just the other night. The owner of the club, Bob Martino, treated us all to a great evening and food and fellowship. We were just all commenting on that about how incredibly far we've come in such a short period of time. And John, that's a testimony to one thing and one thing only, and that's the staff and the team that we put together here. If we didn't have the right individuals who at least had the right approach, attitude, culture of sprinting downhill, you know, doing things without being asked, just do every little piece to build out this great, cool experience, we wouldn't be where we are. So that's just a testimony to the great people that we have working for us. And like I said, we still have a ways to go, but we're doing it intelligently. We're doing it with purpose, and we're doing it selflessly, and that's gonna make this thing go great.
So then, if there was one thing that Red Wolves fans don't know about Bob Martino that you can pull back the curtain and let them know about, what's one thing about Bob that you would like to let them know about him, the man, not necessarily him, the owner?
You know, and he would kill me for saying this, so if he listens to it, I'm going to ask for forgiveness first. But he might be one of the most humble individuals I've ever known. I mean, he is the last person to ever talk about himself, talk about anything he's doing. Unless you knew him, you would have no idea that he's a very successful real estate developer and a you know, the owner of a brand new soccer franchise in Chattanooga. And I think that's probably the best way I can define his character is the humility that he brings to the table. And Chattanooga's lucky to have him, and I'm proud to call him a friend.
Okay, subtle plug number 2. Let everybody know how they can get in touch and keep an eye on everything going on with Red Wolves SC, as everything is going to start pretty quickly and you're still running downhill. Subtle plug number 2. Go ahead and hit it.
The best thing to do is go to the website, CHATT, redwolves.com, and it has everything on there. It's got, you know, stories, news. I love the interviews we do with the players. It really starts to show the fans who these guys are, what they love, why they like soccer, how they got started. It's also an easy place to buy tickets and merchandise, so we would be happy if they click the tab over that way too. But, yeah, everything that you could ever want to know is on our website and through all our social channels as well on Facebook and Instagram.
Sean McDaniel, President, General Manager, Chattanooga Red Wolves SC. Thanks for hanging out with us on SDH for another 1v1. And, you know, we'll be banging on your door a lot as we get ready for the season and keeping progress with everything up there in Chattanooga. Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you, John.